Baltimore police say a handful of juveniles are repeat offenders in the city. That's just one detail a city council committee learned during a briefing from BPD. We have team coverage today, beginning with Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost. And Mackenzie, you're also learning some new details about changes to ankle monitors for the Department of Juvenile Services. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Mary, this was an informative hearing at City Hall. Not only did BPD say that they know the names of several young people who they say are repeat offenders committing the majority of these crimes that we're seeing unfold in the city, but we're also learning that DJS says in a couple of months it's going to switch all of its ankle monitors for the juveniles under its supervision.
This is an especially sensitive topic that we have been working pretty diligently.
Baltimore police say since the juvenile crime laws changed last year, officers now carry a youth pocket guide outlining what's supposed to happen. While stolen auto cases are down this year,
most of the charges coming through are robbery related.
BPD says officers are getting better at spotting robbery patterns, but that doesn't mean they're able to stop them immediately.
There are situations where they're getting back out and they're reoffending, but because we have familiarity with them, we're able to identify them in future cases. But it's a really small number of kids that are committing the majority of these offenses.
Can you give me a sense of scale? Are we looking at 15 kids or 50 or 150?
I would just say anecdotally, so on a weekly basis, when we meet with our partners at DJS, we typically go over about 10 names. Those are probably the most problematic, but I would say there's probably 50 names that when they come up on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, the commanders and the commissioner, we recognize, we know those names pretty much by heart.
Under the new laws, juveniles can be detained if they're facing more serious crimes or if they have a history of getting caught committing crimes. However, BPD says the Department of Juvenile Services doesn't always hold a kid when officers request detention.
We find that maybe 3 out of 10 of the youth when we're requesting detention actually are getting detained by DJS. Those are usually the handguns and the warrants.
Which then leads to monitoring.
Just because they're not detained pending adjudication doesn't mean that they're not going through the formal court process.
DJS has 4 levels of monitoring, going from a simple curfew to house arrest with a GPS ankle monitor. Fox 45 News has been investigating the use of ankle monitors within DJS for months, and council members asking some of the same questions we have posed to DJS.
Why would we have some cases where we would only have the proximity monitoring, and then in some cases where we have GPS monitoring?
Lisa Gary from DJS says electronic monitoring and GPS are similar and admits having more details about a juvenile's whereabouts is better for everyone.
If we have the ability to track a young person at any given time in the community, it's much more effective for us to ensure compliance.
Soon, the use of ankle monitors without the ability to provide real-time location updates will be out of service.
We are actually scheduled to do full GPS as of July 1.
Fox 45 News learned there are 92 juveniles under home detention in Maryland within DJS as of May 5th, and 161 wearing a GPS ankle monitors. For kids who were originally detained and released within 3 days,
70% of those kids did well in community.
70% success rate within 2 months is a 30% failure rate within 2 months, which is 1 out of 3. That is actually, I think, I find that number actually fairly alarming.
In Baltimore City, the number is not as promising as it is in other parts of the state. Again, that may be going back to how do we deal with chronic offenders, and that is something that we wrestle with my team every single day, because that is high. I would like to see that number less than 10%. The department is not beyond admitting that we would like to see that much lower.
How that will become reality remains one of the biggest unanswered questions as juvenile crime continues to unfold in Baltimore City.
Now, I reached out to the Department of Juvenile Services again today to try and get more information about how this transition to all GPS ankle monitors will go and if the department has enough staff to monitor the additional juveniles wearing these types of monitors. So far, I've yet to get a response.
I'm Mary Bubala. Thank you for watching. Here's another video for you to watch. Also take some time to subscribe to our YouTube channel.